You know, lots of times I'll take you on a step-by-step through a build of an ATV or a side-by-side, but today I want to skip all of that. I've already done all the work and take you right to how we test all of those parts on an ATV or a side-by-side. And the base vehicle that I'm doing it on is a Maverick X3X DS Turbo. No, not the big turbo. This is the 130 horse version that a lot of times gets overlooked because it's not the biggest and the baddest, but it is one heck of a side-by-side. And if you check out my test ride of this X3 I did earlier this year, you'll see that while it's the more entry-level X3, really there's nothing entry-level about it. Now from the factory, this side-by-side really doesn't have any specific discipline. It's just a sports side-by-side. So I wanted to add some parts and pieces that were gonna help me do something that I really wanted to do with it. And with a world-class rock crawling facility only minutes from our headquarters, I thought, why not increase the rock crawling potential and the creature comforts of this X3 to focus on rock crawling. Now keep in mind, I'm using the 130 horse Mav, not the Turbo R, and I still want to enjoy this thing out on the trails. So no huge tires, no lift kits, nothing crazy. Just things that someone wanting to go out and have some fun crawling would appreciate their X3 being equipped with. Now some of the things that I opted for right up front was definitely putting a roof on. The sport roof is really important because it keeps the sun off us when we're out crawling around, and it also keeps the sun's glare from getting in my eyes when I'm crawling. Now add to that the little half sport windshield, which goes on so easy. Honestly, this thing clips on and off so simply afterwards. And that helps to keep some of the wind off of me and mud if I get it in areas that are really muddy and wet. But it also allows airflow, and I can still have that line of sight should that windscreen get covered in mud or dirt when I'm out riding. So I really appreciate that. Now on top of it, I have the center pod screen holder, which will hold any cell phone or an iPad of any size. And this is really handy too, because when I'm out ripping around, I can bring up trail maps, I can bring up whatever I need to right on that screen, and it's easily accessible right in front of my face. Plus, it gives me a nice handy little dash pocket to store stuff in, and there's a 12-volt accessory right there behind it. Now, I also opted for installing a winch because, well, it's important to have on any side-by-side, but especially if you're gonna get a little wild with climbing and try some things that you might not have thought possible. Using a factory Can-Am ordered Warn VRX 45S winch, I'm able to hook onto my 50 feet of synthetic line to anything around me to help keep the Maverick from getting too out of control over the really big rocks. And truthfully, it's not always about me. If I get to the top of an obstacle and need to help as an anchor point for another person coming through, then I'm ready to go with my 4,500 pounds of pulling capacity, and the all-metal design Warn incorporates. Don't forget, they also now utilize the same internal clutch system as the legendary Warn locking hubs, and that's the kind of history that you can stand on. Now, as you've probably already noticed, I do have a really nice front bumper on this Maverick. This is a Can-Am S3 front bumper. It's 1.5 inch steel tube frame that's powder coated for durability. It's a really nice front bumper. It's got a bash plate on the bottom. It has a nice winch hook here so that I can keep my winch up and out of the way and easy to access should I get in mud or when I'm crawling, so I can grab that hook really simply. And the other thing is, it takes a winch right from the factory. You don't have to buy any accessory mount. This whole bumper is a winch mount. So that's really simple and easy. Also has the mount for the fairlead. Now on top of this, I know if I get too close to stuff, which is gonna happen, I'm not gonna rip the expensive front plastics off of my Maverick. Now I added in some Lone Star Racing rock sliders as well because, well, not just because they look so good, but because we're rock crawling and these lower plastics are always vulnerable in these situations. I hate the thought of carving up these powder-coated 1.5 inch tube steel sliders, but that's what they're there for. And they go on so easily that if you need to pull them off each season and give them a bit of a touch-up because you're actually using them, well, that's what they were designed for, so be it. Now, another obvious accessory is the huge rear rack for this side-by-side. And the cool thing is that when I add this rack on, I double my storage. Super handy, and it tilts out of the way. Having the Link pivoting rear rack gives me all kinds of options. I could carry a spare tire up there with the spare tire strap kit that's included, load up a storage trunk, or as I'm doing today, I can put my big 8-gallon roto-molded and foam-insulated Link cooler up on the first level to carry my drinks on ice, but then have the upper level completely accessible for all kinds of stuff that I might want to bring along. The rack also pivots to give you better access to the lower storage deck and easy access to strapping down gear, or if you're using the 8-gallon cooler like me, allows the lid to open easily. One cool Link add-on that I suggest you never leave home without is the Link Toolkit. This is the smartest little setup that snaps into your Link bases and gives you a really thought-out selection of tools that can come in very handy for trailside repairs. Maybe you blew a belt and you need to get that clutch cover off, maybe your buddy has something coming loose, or heck, you're out at the cabin and the generator needs some fixing. This kit is very well equipped and I'm certain will never be something you regret having along. And trust me, your buddies will thank you when the inevitable question comes up, hey, does anyone have any tools? You know, it's always nice to add accessories that can help you to do something better. And today I definitely increased the rock crawling potential, but the truth is all of these accessories are just gonna make every day out on the trail that much more fun with my Maverick. And it doesn't hurt that they're genuine Can-Am accessories, so you know that they're gonna fit.